Welcome to the Blue Collar Nation podcast, the podcast dedicated to making the lives of home service professionals better. Now join Eric and Larry to talk about all things home service.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Larry from the Blue Collar Nation, and I'm here with my OCD, annoyed stickler, anal business partner, Mr. Eric Sprague, the tech whisperer. What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to address our guest, Kayla. Like, we went through this whole thing before, and then he just has to go over the top and use every word, right? He can't be one word. It's got to be all the words that we discussed.
But they all work, so it's okay.
Yeah. All right.
It's all good, dude. How are you today?
Kayla had a good definition of stickler for those who don't know. Kayla, what did you say a stickler is? Because we're talking about me. So, like, what was the definition of my personality?
So I believe the definition was like very specific, OCD.
Yeah, that's true.
What you want is what you want. Like there's no give. And then I was like, yeah, that's a stickler. Like I believe that's the key definition.
Stickler's too kind. You need to find something negative in there because those of us that aren't sticklers, it's what's the word you used? Annoyed. Yeah.
All right. Well,
is used in a positive and they are kind, but I will definitely say Eric is kind. So even though he has his stronger tendencies of like maybe OCD and like specific,
okay,
you know, I still like feel like that fits.
I'm feeling threatened, and I think I need a mental health day, so I'm out.
Yeah, you need your half birthdays coming up, so you might get that.
All right, so check it out. Why don't you introduce the show? Let's get moving.
No, hang on. We got a little advertisement coming up, and we're going to pause for that right now and go. Okay, cool. So we have Kayla. Pronounce your last name because I was going to ask you before. I don't want to mess it up. McGowan. Wonderful. And Kayla is the editor-in-chief of R&R Magazine. She is the big toe of the experience. She is the person that stirs the pot in the restoration and cleaning industry on that experience R&R area. We're so happy to have you with us today. And we're going to have a great conversation. I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And stir the pot, I'm thinking is a good.
Absolutely.
Stir the pot. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I was thinking, Kayla, more like you're the straw that stirs the drink. Just make it all happen.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. Now we're politically correct. Thank you very much, Eric. This is good. Since when did we try to turn this podcast into politically? Well, maybe we have to for you, Kayla. We have the respect for you, so it's all good.
I like to have a fun time too. So let's just see how it goes.
Yeah. I was going to say, Kayla, we know you personally. It's not that politically correct around here. So we're okay. All right. Well, I feel left out. I'm sitting here in Utah in my office, and you guys are in Florida. And what is it, like 90 degrees?
You kidding me?
No, I think the high 77 today. Like it is still beautiful, but it's definitely cooler than anticipated, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you're still doing better than me.
Vegas. She's expecting you hot right now. So
that's true.
Yeah, it's freezing in this room here. We're at the Viola Business Planning Retreat, and we're having a good time. There's wonderful people in this room, people that are focused, that are dialed, entrepreneurs that know what they're looking for, and they're sitting there and focusing. It's really cool. So if anybody ever wants to focus on their business before the next year, plan your next year, Viola Business Planning Retreat is very cool.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's a good way to end the year, and it's a nice way to start your new year too, right? It's nice to see new faces, some returning, right? Some people come year after year, but it's really nice to see it. I think it gives us the opportunity to kind of get a pulse check of where people are in the industry and kind of get to go from there. But yes, it is cool here, and I'm the only one that has not put a jacket on because I really love the cold because I'm in the desert. So it's been every time somebody walks by me, are you cold? I'm like, no, I'm good. It's that Vegas blood.
Yeah. I'm tough. It's like cold at night. So, all right. Well, feeling left out, but I know you guys have a golf tournament to get to. So let's get into this. Kayla, for those who don't know you like Larry and I do, why don't you give a little background story and tell people what you're doing before you were at R&R and what your role is now and all that great stuff.
Yeah, so I've been in the industry for 10 years. I actually, when I moved to Vegas, I had my introduction into this industry. I started at the IICRC and I was there for 7 years or so. And I started as a customer service rep and I moved my way all the way up to the marketing manager there. And then I took a little leave from our industry. I was like, let's see what else is out there. And I went to the medical side of things, didn't like it. So then I kind of slowly came back on the estimating side of things. I ran marketing, and then I've been at R&R for a year, and I think that this is like the place that I needed to be. It's definitely something that allows me to talk. I love to talk. I love to listen. I love to network. And most importantly, I just love learning about people. So it's been a great opportunity. And then with the experience, right? It's like it's a full circle moment. I don't just have the editorial side of things. I have event side of stuff. And it's really
Yeah.
cool because we've seen each other all grow. And I think that's the one thing that I've really keeps me so vested and so excited is just, learning about everybody. I mean, we have a really good relationship, right? Because we're able to work a little closer now than ever before. And so I think it's really cool to have those, relationships build and then also, see the big wins that happen. And so that's kind of where I am. I
Yeah.
write about the big wins, the controversial stuff, because I think that's stuff that our industry really needs. It's a beautiful place, but I think that there's a lot of growing pains or, this year hasn't been good. So it gives me the opportunity to kind of get
Yeah.
that pulse check. But yeah, R&R and the experience, my home, I have the opportunity to work with you guys on several levels. So it's been really cool. But this is my career. I'm never leaving our industry again. I can't see myself doing that. I did it once, won't do it again.
There you go. Well, I want to give you some kudos because I was at the experience this past year and got to speak. Thank you. Appreciate that. And that was the best show in a really long time.
Yeah, you guys
Like
stepped it up.
and
It's making a big
everybody noticed. Look, Larry and I have been I don't think I've missed a Vegas show since 2008 or 9.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah,
So
we've been going
I've been to a
consistently
fair
10
amount
years.
of them. We used to, I don't know if you know this, but we used to shut our business down when we were smaller and then rent vans and drive our whole team up to the experience. So we would like have, friends in the industry take the calls or whatever, and we would spend 2 days. And that was how we taught our especially newer staff that this is a career, not a job. Right.
Yeah.
We would encourage them, go talk to every booth, go see where you want to go in this industry, go to the classes that you think maybe it doesn't apply to you now, but maybe this is somewhere you think you want to go. And it was like so good for our team. Like
So
so
we were
good.
driving to the experience one year from the LA area in Rancho Cucamonga where we were, and we had a van full of people, our team, and we got this call on the way there, and our referral source couldn't take it. It was a big flood from a good referral source, and we are like, oh, we pulled on the side of the road, and Eric and I got out in the middle of the desert, and we're like, do we turn around? Do we go? Do we turn around? And we disappoint the whole van. But it was a big job, and we could have used the big job at that moment. And it was a referral source that called us all the time.
We
So
did
we're
the right
staring
thing.
at each other. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do?
I think it
And we
was me
kept
that's
going.
I think it was me more than you that was like, no, we're gonna keep going.
Well, the thing was, we did a little bit of more research. We had like about 10 minutes to make a decision. We didn't
Yeah.
want to vacillate too much. And it got weird for a second or two with the potential client. And luckily, nothing came of it. And we decided to keep on going. But I always think of our team driving to Vegas. Oh, what do we do? What do we do? The one of the many years we brought our team, but
Yeah.
we went and we made it, and it was
I mean,
one of those
Kayla, you know
moments.
that drive. We were literally like right near like the Zizix Road sign, like
Oh God.
standing on the side of the
Exactly.
road in the middle of the desert, pacing around in the dirt, going, "Do we go back? Do we keep going? Do we disappoint our team? Do we go take that
Yeah.
money? Right? Welcome to restoration, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
it's interesting.
Yeah, and I was gonna say where you pulled off too, you're already specifically you're in, if for those that don't know where that area is, I mean, you're pretty much in Vegas at that point. Like you can taste it, right? And so you know,
you can taste
it does make it hard, right? I mean, you're so close, and you know, but to your point, we are in the business of, hey, that phone rings, you have to make a decision, you have to make a choice. And I think we see it all the time, you know, where gosh, hurricane season can disrupt a lot with the conferences. I mean, I think we saw it this year with the fires. People move their shows. Cotality moved their show to March. I mean, things like that do happen in our industry, and you know, sometimes you only have a matter of 10 minutes to make a decision, and that's just the nature of the beast. But you know, this year's show, you know, was my first Vegas one, and I had so much in mind of what we could do for the industry just because of the year that we've had. And you know, my ultimate goal and the team's goal is having the opportunity for people, no matter where they are in their career, to come and learn something and be able to apply it as soon as they walk out the door. Right. Some stuff is not going to be possible, right? But for most people, that's what I think we were able to do this year. And that was the biggest goal. Honestly, I think we're going to continue to grow as we have. I think the spring was a good build up to what to expect for the fall. And we just kind of went from there. And I think next year's fall show, we will definitely have some big changes. We're going to have one pavilion where we're bringing together restoration, cleaning, inspection, assessment, all in one spot. We'll take a topic and we'll break that topic up, because really in this industry, a lot of times we only see cleaning and we only see restoration, which really it's both. And it's even inspection and assessment. And you need to have those parts either in your business, or you need to have those partnerships. And so that's kind of the song I've been singing for 10 years. And now I have the opportunity to work with people like yourselves and everybody in the industry to make it happen. Right. I think it also allows people who maybe have not had the best year this year to explore additional opportunities and expand their services and their business model, because we've seen, you know, this year was not a year that I don't think anybody could have predicted. We had catastrophic fires in a time that was not fire season. We had catastrophic flooding in a time that wasn't really flood time. And then we had no hurricane activity with the exception of hitting Jamaica and Cuba and those areas, which some of us are going out there, but that requires a lot of money, time, and resources. And not everybody has that, right? This year has been a rough one. Even last year, we did have some storm activity, but you know, we've had a rough couple of years. And so our due diligence is to make sure that we're providing the best information, whether it's technical, scientific, you know, just business management, marketing, mindset, I think is a whole nother thing. And so that's kind of where we're going with things. I think the industry really needs that, especially when we're asking people to come out to Vegas for 3 days, not to mention all the other shows that are going on in the industry, right? Our goal is to always provide something that's a little different.
No, and you do hit on many different topics, all different skill levels and experience levels can get to and gain some experience. We had so many people going, and we see people going now that we're a vendor on the other side. People come in there like, oh, it's our first time and I'm learning so much. This is so cool. And we see people that have been just going for years and years, and they just keep coming back because the value is there, and it's gaining momentum as well. It's getting more value. And when you talk to people, they reflect that. It's nice to hear.
Well, I think for a lot of us who have been in the industry for a really long time, and look, I mean, Larry and I are going to a lot of trade shows, so we're seeing a lot of the same people all the time. But like the people who aren't, you know, vendors, we're seeing people that we've met in classes 20 years ago. Or like the experience to me always feels like a little bit of a homecoming in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of people feel that way. And even, you know, look, I'm going to be honest, there's been years in the last 5 or 6 years where the show wasn't what a lot of people had hoped it would have been. But you know what? Like for me, I would still walk out of there like, man, I saw so-and-so and I saw so-and-so and I saw this person. I haven't seen this person since we took REITs together 15 years ago or whatever, right? So I think it also just has a place in people's hearts too. It's more than a show is my point. Because early days, you know, for Larry and I, that was kind of the only show. Right now we have lots of shows, so it gets spread out. But the experience used to be like where everybody went because there wasn't much show competition back then. And this year, to me, I saw more people that I hadn't seen in years, and that made me feel really good. Larry would love you to believe that I don't like any people. That is not true. I just want to put that on the record right now.
Maybe he just doesn't like me. I don't know.
Well,
No.
that's possible.
I will definitely say, I wear a unique hat as far as like I was a vendor, right? I was an attendee. And to your point, you see some of these people all year long, right? Multiple times. But I will say there were quite a few people that I did see at the experience this year that I hadn't seen all year. And so it was really refreshing to see some of the people that I hadn't seen all year. And, this show is both cleaning and restoring. And so we see a lot of cleaners that we don't see the rest of the year, which I think is really important and crucial to our industry because most people who are really successful actually started as a carpet cleaner or started in, upholstery or something, right? See, so
Yeah.
it's
That's where
really
we come
cool to
from.
kind of, yeah, it's cool to see that because it tells a story and to some extent we're still seeing that. I just think that when we're able to meld those worlds together, it's a beautiful thing. It's a big family. I feel like the experience is a big family. And that's the goal, is to keep it very family oriented. I mean, your kids are allowed to come, like that's really cool too. Your kids are allowed to come and maybe that's getting that next generation in the door, bringing your kids into that show and letting them see what's going on. And our industry is very unique. You have to want to work, you have to love to serve people, and that's what this group really loves to do. And I know we used to have a list last year. We had a spring show. We're not doing a spring show this coming year. And there's just a lot going on in the spring, right? There's just so much going on in the spring. And it makes it really hard to make sure that we're not giving people the unfortunate choice to pick and choose to what they're going to. In Vegas, let's face it, there's no other show going on at that time. We're able to really beef up the content, have more people come that otherwise maybe couldn't come during the spring. They're able to make it to the fall. And, who doesn't love Vegas? I'm biased. I live there, right? So, it's in my
There's something for
backyard.
everybody there as well.
There is. And, I think the spring show this year was really great. It allowed us to really dive in and see what worked and what didn't as far as the type of content. And that's why the fall was so successful. And I think we're going to continue to see that. Not saying we won't ever have another spring show. It just might be a little different. It just for 26, we're not doing a spring show because of the year that we've seen this year in the industry. And, I think I looked at the calendar and there's like probably 4 or 6 weeks back to back that there's shows. Like that means all of us are on the road for 4 to 6 weeks, right?
And many people do, and they don't spread themselves so thin, and it's hard. There's only a big enough pool of cleaners and restoration, and it's exhausting because all of us want to go to these shows. Eric and I, well, you as well, back to back to back. You're flying from one show to another show. Where's the family? I mean, oh yeah, right. Forget about the family for 8 or 9 days, and it's a challenge.
Larry and
this spring,
I a few years ago. Oh, I'm sorry, Kayla.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say a few years ago, it wasn't last year. I think it was the year before. Larry and I had literally been on the road like 7 weeks straight or 6 weeks straight, like crazy, like, because it was a show. And then I remember we finished the show, and it was the last day, and we were kind of just sitting around, like we had till the next morning to, fly to the next show. We had another show, right? And we just looked at each other and we're like, we can't go.
No,
we just can't go.
We
didn't go. We just canceled. Like we've never canceled anything in our lives. Like Larry and I are not canceling people. And we're just like, we can't do it. We're that tired.
Yeah.
Like
and
it won't even
nothing to offer people.
You're just burnt out. Yeah. I mean, and let's be real here too. Like you're on the road, the time you have to dedicate to the office stuff, you don't have it. Your business, I mean, granted, you guys have a good team, and what have you, and you guys rely heavily on each other. You guys pick up each other's slack, quote unquote, when someone's on the road and someone's back at the office. But for weeks on end, it's really hard to stay efficient, right? I mean, let's talk. We didn't even get into the time zones, right?
Well, there's an opportunity cost to being on the road because you're even if you have a great team as owners or operators, you're still not getting to things. Like there's just no, and we have two owners, so if Larry's not doing follow-ups and I'm not able to, coach people or write new content or whatever, like we're still, yes, we're gaining at the show, but we're also losing too, right? Like, I mean, it's both. And that's
Yeah.
always the rub, right? So, yeah, I want to go back to the experience a little bit. I want to make a point for all my carpet cleaning friends listening, right? So Larry, you mentioned cleaners. Look, Larry and I were cleaners. That's how we started. We were carpet cleaners and got into restoration. And, I think most people would look at Larry and I and call us restorers, which, we were, but it all came from cleaning. And, I hear I have a lot of cleaning friends and they're like, oh, I don't know about going to the experience anymore. It's owned by R&R Magazine. That's all restoration. So there's going to be nothing there for me. I always walk the booth and go, that's not true.
Yeah.
Like I can pick 20 booths that I could take home and use their product or their service to better my business. And let's get real. A certain percentage of those cleaners are going to be our next restorers. They might not know it yet. We didn't know it
education there.
yet when we first went. We started getting educated. We're sitting in class going, I think we can do this. Right. So, like, if anybody's listening and you're a carpet cleaner and you think there's nothing for you at the experience, you are incorrect, my friend.
Yeah. The
I
classes
believe
as
strongly
well.
in that.
You hit good
So-
content on both industries that they can use in either industry, or there are carpet classes as well that are catered to carpet education.
Yeah, and I would definitely say too, like the carpet cleaning, upholstery, any textile, whether it's hard or soft, we deal with that every single day in cleaning and restoration. And those are the type of topics that we cover. I mean, we even cover business management, right? And that's no matter what business you're in, right? You could have a marketing person in there and still benefit from that class. So I would definitely say for those listening who don't really know what the education looks like, we have a cleaning track, we have a restoration track, we have a business management and marketing track. And this year we're working on potentially having a straight Spanish track, which is something that I know there's been Spanish courses in the past or sessions, but I really feel like there's some opportunity to really capitalize there, which what that means is it's cleaning, restoration, inspection, assessment, business management and marketing. And so we really want to make sure that we're providing something for everybody. And that's kind of where we're going with that. I mean, and to your point, some people will say, and I hear this actually on both sides, the restorers say that there's a lot of cleaning and the cleaners say there's a lot of restoring, right? And so really, essentially the reason you see it that way is because you see yourself as a cleaner or a restorer. And of course, that's what you're going to see. But really, the goal is to try and meld those worlds together. And yes, we R&R are over the show, but I'm actually working in cleaning and inspection and hard surface stuff into our topics in our editorial to provide the lens that maybe not there. And so it kind of melds all those worlds together. And I really truly believe that in our day-to-day, if you're a restorer, you have to clean to restore. You cannot effectively restore without cleaning. And to be able to clean, there's an act of restoring, right? And they're codependent, and then that brings in inspection and assessment. You have to do all of that for every job. And so, for those listening to Larry and Eric's point, like there is actually something for everybody. And if there's something particular that you want to see, like shameless plug here, but like reach out to me, let me know, like, hey, Kayla, I think we should see something more specific in cleaning, inspection, what have you. That's how we get better. And that's how we provide the content that everybody's looking for. So if you feel kind of like there's not something that you're looking for, just let us know. We can always work that in for the people attending.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I'm not trying to. I'm sure, Kayla, you're good with this, but I'm not trying to turn this into a podcast that's an infomercial for the experience. But I'm a passionate participant of the experience and have been for a really long time. And I know Larry feels the same way. So, like, we have a lot of fond memories, and that show's done a lot for us in our life. So I'm willing to speak about it all day long.
And many of our listeners out there. And if you're not in the cleaning and restoration field, find a show that's good for you, because staying on top of education in your industry is important. And if you go to a trade show, you can see what's happening, the new products, the new technology, the new AI in that field, or whatever you're doing. All the latest, greatest stuff is there. And you get to share time with your peers. Everybody there is experiencing the same thing you are in your business, generally speaking. Even if a guy has, 20 trucks on the road versus if you have 2, you're going to be able to find someone at common ground and learn things.
Well, I would definitely say, I think you guys both have said too, we all attend shows. Like, even though the experiences, like the show that I obviously am very close with, we go to RIA. I mean, we go to Interconnect, we go to Alacrity, PLRB. I was actually just at ISSA on Tuesday. So, we definitely go to all of these shows, and every show has something else to offer. There's always a new insight. There's always a new product. There's different types of speakers. There's different types of education. Some have a heavy influence on insurance. Some have a heavy influence on more the restorer that's an independent. So, I would definitely say, go out there and explore. The worst thing that can happen is, you can't go this year. Honestly, I've never been to a show where I was like, I shouldn't have come to this show. You gain something from every single show in this industry, which I think is very unique for us because, that's like a realtor show. I don't know if they're all the same, but I would imagine they're pretty similar, right? Maybe they're kind of like us, but for us, I would definitely say they're all over the country. So you don't have to necessarily go to Florida where we are right now. They're in Texas, and they're in if there was just something in Maryland, there's something in Nevada, California. So all of that to say, no matter where you are in the country, there's something within probably driving or flying distance that is still very affordable for you to help expand your knowledge and education in this space.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
All right. Well, speaking of shows, you want to give away any little secrets of the upcoming 2026 experience, like little things that maybe nobody knows, like hot take for our podcast?
Yeah, we can unload it right here. Grand.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So I think I kind of dropped one earlier, and that's not having 2 pavilions this year. We're having one. And the reason we're doing that is to really bring in that collaborative effort to the experience, right? And the reason we're doing that is because of what we're seeing now is the last couple of years haven't been the most steady. And what does that mean? You should be building these relationships with those who are assessors, even indoor air quality specialists, carpet cleaners, maybe somebody who has a specialty rug plant. There's going to come a time when your customer needs something that you may not be able to offer, but you have the right collaboration and partnership to do so. So that's one of them. The Spanish session, Spanish track is another one. I would definitely say you can probably count on more interactive and panel style sessions. I feel like those went really well. There will also still be solo sessions, but I really want to bring in the collaborative piece. That's one thing that we're really talking about is making people a little uncomfortable with having to maybe sit next to their competitor and share ideas, right? Which really, yes, we are competitors, but we all learn from one another. And so those are the kind of things that I would definitely say. We're working on some keynote stuff. You may get 3 days of keynote instead of 2, which is something new. We've never done that. We've always done 2 days. And so and the reason being is because sometimes you can't get to the first 2 keynotes. So, we want to make sure that we're providing the opportunity to get additional insights every day.
Sure. No, that's awesome. That's great. Same location?
We are actually at the Paris. I think everybody loves that location.
We're back at the Paris. Okay.
We're back at Paris, which means I think we're back at the pool for the industry party. So
well, that's what I was just going to say that because that was always the highlight, the pool, right? Amazing views.
Amazing views. Weather is still beautiful at that time. The sun is still up for quite some time, but it's just, and we're inside all day, right? Let's really be real here. We're inside all day long. That's something to look forward to. We usually have music of some sort. We'll probably have some interactive stuff going on. We don't know what the theme is just yet, but when we do, we'll announce that, so I think everybody liked the tailgate theme this year. I think everybody liked that. So we'll see what we do for 26. But yeah, back at the pool, man. I love the stuff by the pool, especially for us being inside all day,
Yeah, what makes a difference? We're always traveling and you're inside the whole time. And all of a sudden you walk outside and like, oh, I haven't been outside in days. I've been inside the show and inside my room, inside the bars and talking to people and restaurants and such. And yeah, that's nice.
Larry and I have been to like 4 beachfront resorts in Florida this year, right? Like already. I have not one time put my foot on the sand in any of them.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've been to Florida 4 or 5 times. I haven't touched the sand either.
Yeah,
No,
I know,
see,
because you get busy and Larry always finds a way.
I'll get up early in the morning and I'll go when nobody's up. I'm going to have it now because it's been chilly, but I'm always finding some time to go into the water. And I think this will be the first time so far. Maybe before we leave, I'll find a beach. I'll find a beach around here. And
yeah, I think it's not far, but we're kind of in a bay, if you will.
Spot.
Yeah.
So swimming. Yeah. But there's a gigantic, beautiful pool. So that'll be my
infinity pool is the next best thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a quick story about the Paris and the pool. So my youngest daughter would come to the show over the years when they were at the Paris, and she just she's kind of introverted, but she would come out of her shell at those pool parties and would go dance with the band and the whole thing. And then I remember a couple of years ago, she's like, "Dad, are we going to the experience?" And I was like, yeah. And she goes, "Is it going to be at the pool, the Paris with the pool?" I was like, "Actually, no." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm not going."
So that was it.
So maybe she'll come. Maybe she'll come this year.
Hey, open invitation. We'd love to have her, but that's one of those other things that people looked forward to, right? Because it is just a way to have a nice evening and still network, but also be outside where it's fresh, right?
Yeah, well, it's nice to bring your family where they have somewhere that's comfortable. Not that the other venues haven't been.
Yeah.
But the Paris is something particularly nice. It's right on the strip and there's other things to see. And yeah, a lot of people because we were there in the past. We've had a good time. I love that room with the ceiling. You can just see it feels like you're outside.
It does. They do a really good job there in Vegas to keep you indoors thinking that you're outside, right?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
The Paris is a great location, not just because of the pool and being on the strip, but everything is in a close vicinity. You don't even really have to walk outdoors to go get a meal if you don't want to and don't have to. And then a really cool thing is we're the only people in the convention space. Like it's all going to be cleaners, restorers, inspectors, assessors.
Cool.
That's it. It's just us. We're taking up that whole space, which will be really, really nice to see us all just in one space.
All right. Well, Kayla, look, I want to get all the dates and how to sign up, but before we do that, I want to do a couple like a bonus round of questions for you, okay? If you don't mind, before we land the plane. Favorite business books for our listeners. Like if somebody came up and was like, "Hey, I'm going to start a business. What book should I read?" What would you tell them?
So I would definitely say there's 3. One of them definitely is more life, but also business. The first one is The Coffee Bean. It's by John Gordon and Damon West. I actually read that as a team building opportunity, and if you love coffee, that's probably a good one to read. Won't give it all away, but really it's simplistic. That's what I will tell you. It's very simplistic. It's meant to also change your mentality and help you team build. The other is the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. She actually has a podcast, and the audiobook is actually what really drew me. I wanted to hear her read it because it's a story about her life, right? And the Let Them Theory is about all aspects of your life, honestly. And it's one that I actually live by. And so, to business owners out there listening, thinking like, how can I be better? How can I, maybe do something better than my competition, or should I worry about my competition? Literally let them do their thing and you do yours. That is the best business advice and personal advice ever. And that's one that I really love. I keep going back to that book. The other one is, everybody knows Dave Ramsey, right? Let's say it's not a secret. He teaches you how to be money conscious, but he has a book called Build a Business You Love. Right. And so basically it's melding the worlds of business and life, but also a successful business. And he's a big money coach. He's a big entrepreneur coach as well. So if you're looking for that type of balance, I would suggest that you read that. And I'm not a very heavy reader. I'm a audiobook / podcast listener.
Same thing. Yeah. Well, that was my next question. So you're going into what I'm saying. I wanted to know what your favorite podcasts are too, please.
So non-industry podcasts, I will say, obviously bias, right? Your guys is mine, the usual, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a given. We know that.
Right, given, exactly. So fun fact about me is I have a criminal science degree. I love the Crime Junkie podcast. So Crime Junkies basically takes a bunch of cases or unsolved cases and they talk about them and they do their own digging. Actually, the most recent episode that I just listened to is actually based in California, not far from where I grew up, of two young girls still unsolved. And those are the kinds of things that I like to do when I'm not thinking about work. I also love the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm a huge fighter fan. And I also really love The Fighter and the Kid, which is another fighting podcast. And those types of podcasts also provide really great life insights. The Crime Junkie one is like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do things by yourself at night, or maybe you should, share where you are in the world. Right. But the Joe Rogan and The Fighter and the Kid, they talk about real life scenarios a lot, not just fighting. And those are the ones that I thoroughly enjoy. And if those of you listening don't know those podcasts, I would take a look at them because it definitely provides a different perspective just on life, right? Yeah. It also allows you to not think about business 24/7, 365.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you can't be listening to home service related podcasts all day, right? I mean, you'll go crazy. Yeah, I'm the same. So constant. What last question before we talk about how to sign up for the experience and all that good stuff. You've been doing this for a long time. If a cleaner or restorer who's brand new, they just got in the business, came to you and said, Kayla, you've been around for a long time. What should I do? Like, if you could give me one piece of advice in my business, what would it be?
My biggest piece of advice was to really network and go to every single opportunity for education, training, and just shows. And the reason that I say that, I know it's kind of a couple of things in one piece of advice, but those are so detrimental to building your character and your business, but also finding the right people that fit your culture, your vision. In this industry, we are so fortunate. Like, I cannot stress how fortunate we are to have so many opportunities for training and education. That is why we are so successful. It's not a one size fits all. You need to dip your toes in every single opportunity that is in your court if you hear about it. So for example, for me, I've taken an IICRC course way back in the day. I've done hands-on training. I've done business management with McGowan. I've gone to the sessions and I learned something every single time, even if you don't think it applies to you, right? The way we grow here is education, training, and networking, period. I mean, that's really the foundation of success here.
And to tag on to that, so many people are willing to share and offer information just between each other in the connection. Oh, that's happened to me before. If you ever, I could help you out with that. Or if you have something that comes up, you don't know what to do, here's my phone number, give me a call, and you create a network of people, which we did many times. We would run into something and we're like, what do we do? And Eric was like, I don't know, let me call this guy. And I'd call somebody else and we try and figure out what to do. And that is what we've seen in this industry that's very helpful. People are willing to give. So
I mean, like where you guys are right now, it's like, yes, we're Violin's helping everybody work on their business plan, get it going. And there's huge value in that. Larry and I, we've done that every year. But you also learn just as much at the bar, meeting your peers and learning what they did and how they run. And I mean, like every trade show that Larry and I would go to, or event or coaching, we learned as much at the bar at night, just meeting new friends as we did during the day. It was like the learning never stopped when the whole event for the day was over. It would go all the way till midnight or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that's how you build you use the word network. I mean, Larry and I both put a lot of energy, time, and effort into that to meet people, to, get friendly with them so that when we had a problem and maybe they were 10 years ahead of us, I could pick up the phone and go, I just got this job and I don't know what to do. And in our industry, people are so willing to help if you ask. It's like insane. You know, Larry and I met Darren and Derek Priest when they still had their restoration company back in the day, and they were way bigger than us. We met them at an event and we were just starting out. We didn't know how to market. And we were like, hey, could we come visit? Could we come visit and you see what you do? And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. We literally showed up. We drove 14 hours to their place. We didn't tell them we were doing that because we were like brand new. We had no money, right? We just got in the truck and we drove. And when we got there, they were shocked by that. And then they met with us for a couple hours. And at the end, they literally, because this is before everything was digital, handed us a stack of all the marketing stuff that they had worked on for years and just said, go do this. We know it works. I mean, like, what other industry are people doing that?
None. I mean, that's the thing is like, no, even if we're in the same market, it doesn't matter because really there's more people and problems than there are restorers and cleaners. And so everybody's going to get business one way or another. I know maybe this year wasn't the best year, but I just want to take a second and talk about a story that was just shared with me yesterday in an instance with you guys on one of your guys' little retreats. Katie shared that there was a group that you guys had, and there was two gentlemen. One was trying to sell his rug side of his business, and there was actually somebody in that room looking to buy one, and he was able to do that. They were able to, one, be at the same place at the same time and have the opportunity to turn it into a business opportunity. And so I say all that to say, big or small, there's always opportunities, right? And there was no hesitation. They were able to talk about where they were trying to go with their business, and it just happened to turn into a great opportunity for them both. And so, to your point, get in your car and drive, especially if somebody offers, hey, whenever you'd like to come up, just come up. Take them up on that opportunity, because you never know what doors it's going to open for you at all. I mean, for you guys, wow, a whole marketing opportunity that would have taken you months, if not a year, to create and successfully implement it. Now you had the keys to the castle, and for questions that you had, you were able to actually call them back and say, hey, how did you guys leverage this, right? And so I think the one thing that I really love about our industry is that the networking here is just next level. Like, to your point, you can ask questions. I always say the only bad question is the one you don't ask, right? That's literally the only bad question. That you could ask one of the most simplistic questions, but chances are somebody in that room has the same question. So it's not a bad question to ask. Always feel that it's a safe space, because I think it is. I think this is a very safe space for you to openly ask maybe a harder or an easier question that you should know the answer to, but people are going to say, hey, actually, here's what you need to know.
Well, it's funny because, when you're nervous and you don't want to seem like an idiot and you finally get the courage to ask, and you're expecting, especially the companies that are way further down the road or bigger. And then the owner will inevitably turn around and be like, oh my gosh, I did the same boneheaded thing that you did. Right. Like, that's the thing that people don't realize. It's like everybody who is now, the large company at one point was just like you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Larry, we were close to ATI. We were like 25-minute drive from ATI. Larry drove down and met with, I don't know, Jeff Moore. I don't know which Moore brother.
It was one of the brothers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Jeff.
And he literally looked at us. And I mean, I think at the time, and they probably still had like largest independent restoration company in the country. And he looked at Larry dead in the eye and he goes, you can do this. Like, we were just like you. I remember Larry came back like invigorated by that. So here's this huge company that we're right in their backyard and they're looking at us going, you can do this. That's pretty cool.
It really is, because I think, to your point, we all start from the same starting point, right? Some of us get there faster, some of us get there slower, but the thing is you determine what the right path is for yourself, and it is possible. If you have the mentality and the skills and the drive and, things like Violand, things like even you guys, right? You guys help tons of people. I think it's really great for people to really understand that, hey, maybe I'm not a $3 or $4 million company, but I can be, right? And how can you get there? Leverage the network, leverage people's brains. But I think that's really cool to hear that, because ATI is really big now. And I know that everybody listening probably knows that, but you can get there too. It is possible. If you really think about the amount of people in this world compared to cleaners and restorers, we are like probably, I don't know, maybe 100x. Like they're 100 times bigger than we ever are going to be, right? And so there's so many opportunities to still grow and serve this amazing country that we have in some way, shape, or form, right? You may think that a little town in, Nevada or Utah doesn't really need your services, but chances are they probably do. They just may not have a company right now. And so that's where you can find success, right?
Or there's opportunity with somebody doing such a crappy job. And we see that so often. Yeah, this guy's horrible in town. We need somebody that's good. And there's opportunity right there.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
And you should explore that. Even if you see other competitors or people in that space, take a second to research that market. Google them. I think that's the other thing is just take 5 seconds to Google restoration or cleaning contractors near me.
Yeah.
And then you see them and then they have like a 2-star review on Google. Like, okay, swoop in there and take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, well, let's get real. We've been for the last almost hour talking about the people who show up at conferences and shows and the whole thing. They're the minority. Those are the best contractors. All the other guys are sitting at home thinking they have the answer to everything, getting 2-star reviews all day.
Yeah.
And thinking they have it all figured out. Don't be that person. Be the other person who invests in themselves and their business. Because you'll always, in Southern California, if we got a new loss and I drove over there to sell it, there'd be like 3 other restoration companies sitting there too, And all I used to do is just pull out my phone and go to Yelp, because in California, Yelp's everything, or at least it used to be. And I just I wouldn't even say a word. I'd be like, here's the guy that's sitting over here. Here's the guy that's sitting over here. Oh, here's our 700 5-star reviews. I just got a signature. I didn't have to say anything. The marketplace told that client that we're more well thought of.
Yes. And I think the industry can learn from that, right? To your point, like that is still a great way to get a job. Because
just pull out your phone and show them what you got. Yeah.
Right now, I mean, think about it. When any consumer is looking for anything, they're pulling out their phone. They are not, yes, they are probably calling their friends and family, but they are looking at those reviews, whether it's Google, Yelp. I mean, if you're on Apple or on, an Android, the map has their review built into said service. So if you aren't maintaining those types of reviews, then that's a part of your business to work on. But to your point, you don't really have to say much because the consumer is going based on a review at that point.
Totally. Yeah. Katie does. So we mentioned Katie Harris earlier. Katie at our retreat, like the last one we had, did a whole 30-minute thing on people will data proves that people will value the Yelp review or the Google review more than their closest family's opinion. Right?
Yep.
So you better go get those good reviews.
Yeah. Yes, you better. If you haven't taken anything away from this and you've made it this far, yes, go do that right now.
All right. So Kayla, why don't you give us all, we're going to land the plane here because I know you guys have a golf tournament to get to. When is the show? How do they sign up? How do they look into it? All the good details.
All the details. So September 9th through the 11th in 2026 at the Paris hotel and casino here. Well, not here. We're not in Las Vegas, but in Las Vegas,
Yep.
Nevada. You can go to rnrmagonline.com, and on the top nav bar, there's an experience drop down. We're actually taking proposals for speakers. So we also have that opportunity. If you'd like to speak or there's a topic you'd like to hear, submit that. Let us know.
Yeah.
I think to your point, Eric, we take people from all over the industry.
Yep.
Independent, franchise, new, been in the industry for 20, 30 years, cleaning, restoring, business management, marketing. I mean, really, any idea is a good idea. And, if you've been looking for a way to maybe share your story or statistics or what have you, it's a great opportunity to do so. But yeah, we're a little less than a year away, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to see you guys at the experience. I know I'll see you before then, but yeah, and one thing I will say is I'm a person that you can get a hold of. So if you ever need to get a hold of me, literally anywhere you see my contact information, reach out to me, and I'd be more than happy to connect with you. And
Do you want to
answer
share?
questions.
Can you share that for the listener? How to best get a hold of you?
can.
Okay.
Yeah, I can. So my email is McGowan, K, so McGowank at bmpmedia.com. And you can call my cell phone, 757-849-2461. And I'm available. I think you guys know that. Most people are
You're
asleep.
brave. You just put your cell phone out
I
for
was thinking
thousands
cell
of
phone,
people.
right on.
It's my cell phone. It's not my personal.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
We have great listeners. You're okay.
Yeah,
Don't you worry about it.
I
mean,
I
it's
think
out there
our
already.
listeners are pretty respectful. So
Yeah.
yeah, all right.
Right on.
Well, Kayla, thank you so much for coming on. Great to see you as always, and great show. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Nation podcast. For more information about Eric and Larry and Supertech University, please visit us at supertechu.com. That is supertechu, the letter U.com.